In basketball, the final score is just a snapshot, a freeze frame at the finish line, but it doesn't show the path that got both teams there. So when you think of Wichita State's 81-77 win over Tulsa on Saturday at Koch Arena, it's easy to remember the furious late comeback that sealed it. But long before the finish, a chess match was unfolding on the court. After Tulsa dictated the terms in the first meeting, it was on WSU coach Paul Mills to bring a better game plan to the rematch in Wichita. In this video, we're going to break down the defensive tweak that he made to fortify WSU's defense and rebounding, and the crucial in-game adjustment that flipped the script for the Shockers on offense. But to fully appreciate the moves Mills made, you have to rewind to that first meeting in Tulsa, because that's where you're going to see what the Shockers changed for the rematch. So here's the key background on Tulsa. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Tulsa's offense is built around its bigs operating on the perimeter, not necessarily scoring, but setting screens, running dribble handoffs, and freeing up shooters for clean looks. WSU's strategy to combat this was clear. Take away the handoff game, take away the pin downs, and make every catch uncomfortable. So look at where Will Berg is positioned here. Tulsa's center has the ball on the perimeter, and Berg is all the way up to the three-point line, guarding him like he's a wing. That's not an accident. That's Wichita State saying, we're not letting you walk into these handoffs and rhythm threes. Now look at the way WSU's guarding away from the ball. See how the Shockers are defending Tulsa's shooters? They're top blocking, getting on the high side, denying the path over the screen, basically trying to prevent Tulsa from using those screens to pop free for threes. The message is clear. You're not coming off clean, you're not getting daylight, and you're not getting comfortable. That plan made sense until Tulsa coach Eric Conkle adjusted. After halftime, he realized exactly what WSU was doing and used it against them. If you're going to top block and overplay shooters, you're vulnerable to the back cut. Tulsa started turning Wichita State's denial defense into a layup drill. Their guards weren't trying to fight over the top anymore. They were slipping behind WSU, and the killer part was that WSU's best rim protector wasn't there to erase mistakes. That's because Berg was being pulled all the way out to the three-point arc to guard the hub of Tulsa's offense, and WSU didn't have that usual safety net at the basket. So when Tulsa back cut, there wasn't a shot blocker waiting. There was just open runway. And it also created a second problem, too. It wrecked WSU's rebounding. With Berg and the centers pulled away from the rim, WSU wasn't in position to clean up misses, and Tulsa made them pay for that during that second half knockout punch by grabbing 4 offensive rebounds and turning all 4 into second chance points. And that's what made the rematch so fascinating, because Mills didn't just need more effort from WSU, he needed an answer to this exact problem. So now let's look at the switch WSU made for the rematch at Koch Arena. You can see it here immediately. When Tulsa's center pops to the perimeter to start facilitating the offense, instead of following him all the way out to the arc, WSU big man Emmanuel Okorafor drops all the way back into the paint. And that's the point. Paul Mills made a clear choice this game. No more layup line for Tulsa. WSU wasn't going to get stretched thin again. If Tulsa's bigs wanted to facilitate from the perimeter, that was fine. If Tulsa wanted to come off handoffs and launch threes, WSU could live with that. But what wasn't going to happen again was that back cut parade and that wide open runway to the rim. So here Tulsa comes off the handoff and takes the three. It's a clean look. That's the concession WSU made this game. But when the shot misses, look at WSU's rebounding position. With the center anchored in the paint instead of chasing around the three-point arc, WSU's in far better rebounding posture. They're not scrambling. They're not out of place. They're set to finish the stop. That adjustment did 2 things at once. First, it stalled Tulsa's drives and back cuts because there was always a big waiting at the rim as a deterrent. And second, it nudged Tulsa's big men into probably taking more three-pointers than what they were comfortable with, because when WSU is packing it in with the big man, those are the shots that they're going to allow Tulsa to settle for. And then the rim protection difference shows up all over the film. This is what it looks like when Berg is closer to the basket. Instead of being hugged up to the perimeter, now he can slide down, rotate, and erase a shot at the rim. This is a play that simply wasn't available to WSU in that first meeting. To make this structure work, WSU's guards had to be disciplined. WSU was willing to go under a lot of ball screens, and that's going to concede some pull-up threes. Off the ball, the instruction was to trail hard and don't get your hands caught in the screens and put Tulsa's shooters on the foul line. So really it came down to just contest late, live with the shot attempt, and then at the end of the possession, you got to go crash the glass. And that was the trade-off. Take away the steady stream of paint points and accept the consequences of Tulsa firing away from deep. And to be sure, Tulsa did make 10 threes, but the volume and accuracy tell the real story. They were 10 of 32. That's 31%. That's a number WSU can live with. Meanwhile, Tulsa's interior feast from the first game vanished. Its 2-point makes dropped from 25 to 16. Its 2-point accuracy fell from 71% to 55%. And after giving up 17 scores at the rim in the first meeting, WSU allowed only 6 this time at the rim in Wichita. And because Berg and Okorafor were closer to the basket when shots went up, WSU reclaimed its advantage on the glass. Tulsa had only been out-rebounded 5 times all season, but WSU dominated this rebounding battle, holding Tulsa to just 24% offensive rebounding rate. And here's some clean examples of why this matters so much. Tulsa is looking for the same back cut that was there all night in the first matchup, but this time the window isn't there because Berg is just parked in the paint. Tulsa can't throw the pass. The whole action dies before it even becomes a layup. Later in the game, Emmanuel Okorafor, this is a perfect snapshot of how WSU's rim protection changed once the Big stayed home. Okorafor plays this flawlessly, holds his ground, stays vertical, and is in position to block both attempts at the rim, turning Tulsa away twice on the same possession because he started out further back in the paint. Now let's turn our attention to the in-game adjustment Paul Mills made on offense, the move that helped Kenyon Giles score a career-high 12 made twos in this game, including 6 layups as the smallest guy on the floor. Now this adjustment's not going to be found in the box score. It's going to show up in who was setting the ball screen for WSU. So like most defenses, Tulsa is going to switch everything 1 through 4, and because WSU's power forwards, Dylan Battie and TJ Williams, aren't three-point threats, Tulsa's comfortable helping off them in a huge way, sitting in the gaps, crowding the paint. So when Mills sees this, he comes up with a creative way to flip it on them. Instead of running WSU's usual ball screen package with the center setting the pick for Giles, the Shockers started using Battie and Williams as the screeners. Now here's why that matters. So when the 5 sets the screen, Giles is usually going to walk into a hedge or a double team look, 2 on the ball. But when the 4 sets it, Tulsa's going to switch that, and that's going to leave Giles staring at a slower-footed forward on an island. Then WSU layered it with a second wrinkle. Sometimes the forward would actually set the screen, sometimes they would ghost it. So Tulsa's on-ball defender never knew whether to fight, switch, stay attached, and that little bit of hesitation was all Giles needed to turn the corner and get downhill. Tulsa never really solved it. In one stretch in the second half, Giles scored 3 straight layups in less than 90 seconds. If you're wondering how the smallest guy on the floor is getting all these uncontested layups, well, the answer is usually because something's happening away from the ball. So let's take a look at that. Just because WSU centers weren't the ones setting the screens up top, that didn't mean they stopped helping Giles score. Their role just changed. They went from screen setters to lane clearers. And we're just going to watch a post-seal clinic from the Wichita State big men here. Let's begin with the first time WSU runs that 4-1 ball screen. KG gets the mismatch, blows by him, but pay attention underneath. Will Berg is doing the dirty work, putting Tulsa's big man on his back to take him out of the picture completely. That's how KG gets a free, wide-open layup. Second half, it's Emmanuel Okorafor's turn now. He's the one doing the dirty work before KG even reaches the arc. He's going to get inside position, seal the big, and suddenly no rim protector in the picture. 30 seconds later, he's going to do it one more time. Watch how he recognizes KG coming downhill early. He's going to post up hard, except it's not really a post up. It's just to clear the lane for yet another layup. So if you're wondering the hidden engine behind WSU's second half surge, well, look no further. That's how WSU doubled up Tulsa in paint points, 52-26, and pumped out 1.44 points per possession after halftime. You got to start with that in-game adjustment Mills made, the 4-1 ball screen. Tulsa never found an answer for it.